Welcome back to the channel, friends. Now, if you've been following the channel, I've been talking a lot about, my toxic work habits and how work right now is a little crazy. You're probably imagining, Tashi, like, how the heck do you manage all of this stress that you must be accumulating? And it's true. I think I have a pretty high stress job, at least, for me. I feel like all of that is relative for whatever your position is in. But there are times where I find myself taking deep breaths at work or heavy sighs, and coworkers are like, "Are you okay? Like, what's going on?" I'm like, "Oh crap, I am really stressed." But there are ways that I try to, reduce some of that stress and just overall diffuse things, let out a little, air out of the balloon, whatever the little tension, reduce some tension, whatever it might be. So I wanted to share 4 positive ways that I reduce my stress. Now, I want to be clear, there are positive and negative ways to reduce stress. Today, I'm talking about the positive ways, and maybe for a later video, I'll talk about some of the negative ways that I reduce stress. And I don't do these because I want to do them. I do them because, just like everybody, we have vices, we have bad habits and things like that. So I'll save that for a little later video. Let's jump into the 4 positive ways that I reduce stress. Okay, first one for me is music. So I love music. If I wasn't working in games, I'd be working in music somehow. Music's always been a big part of my life, and I think it's the thing that's most closely tied to my mood. Usually in the morning, I wake up and I've got a song in my head that I want to listen to as I'm getting ready. Or when I drive home from work, I'm like, okay, or drive to work in the car, I've always got music going. As soon as I get in, Spotify kicks in and my playlist is running. When I'm at work, I've got music on when I'm not in calls, music that doesn't have any lyrics, so that I don't get distracted at work. Or if I'm doing kind of busy work, let's say email or whatever, I've got on my Spotify most played. And that helps a ton. I also play guitar, and a lot of times after a stressful day of work, I'll play the guitar, and that will help me kind of get back into, just a more kind of level-headed space, or more positive kind of attitude. So music is a huge one for me. I don't know if you all are big into music, but I would definitely recommend listening to music as a good way to help kind of mitigate and reduce your stress throughout the day. Next is I like to go on walks. So there's a nice area by where the studio is where I can do laps around certain shopping centers. If I'm in meetings all day, as soon as my last meeting is over, I've got my jacket on, I'm headed out the door, and I'm out for maybe 20 minutes to just take a few laps, get some fresh air. A lot of times I am thinking about work, or I'm maybe I'm going on a walk with a coworker or someone on my team as a one-on-one. But I always find that I feel better after a walk. I've gotten some fresh air, I've got some blood flowing instead of just sitting in a chair all day. Typically, there's people out walking about with their dogs or little kids having fun, and it's just a more pleasant kind of environment to be out in. Over here in the Washington, Seattle area, the air is so crisp and clean. Everything is really nice where I work. It's just a really beautiful area, and I'm very thankful to work in a nice area like this. So I try to take advantage of it, go out for a walk, and I find that helps clear my head. Or if I'm stressing and really thinking about a problem, it helps me kind of break it down into more manageable bits. And then I feel ready to go back into work and finish off the rest of my night. Going for walks is a big one. Any other type of exercise you can think of, I'm sure will be a huge help, whether it's running or lifting or yoga, whatever it might be. That's something that you love to do. I would think about how you can incorporate that, either during your workday or before or after, as a way to help mitigate stress. The next one is venting. So a lot of times, especially with my boss, when I have a one-on-one and things are crazy, or something went wrong and I just need to vent, that's usually a really good opportunity for me to just hey, it's a safe place with my boss in a one-on-one. I'm just gonna talk shit for a half hour and just complain about stuff, and I just need to get it off my chest. And she does the same on her end, and it's just really healthy. Oh man, this sucked, and I hated this, and I wish we could have done that, and why did this happen, and all this stuff. And it's a little toxic, but at the end of it, it feels a lot better. And we kind of acknowledge hey, I just need to vent for a minute, and the other person just listens, and we just just have it out. It helps a lot. It helps get all this stuff that's off your mind you know, out into the open and just like let it clear these toxins out of your brain. And especially if you have someone on the other end who's like a good listener and is not going to judge you for the things that you say and understands like, hey, this is a venting moment. You know, this is a safe place. There's no judgment here. That is a really good way I've found to help kind of mitigate and reduce stress in the workspace. And I think having that at least, you know, once a week, maybe once every few weeks, depending on, you know, how stressful your work environment might be, is a good thing. I would say the pendulum can swing too far on that end. So if you find that like every day you're venting to somebody and complaining about something, I mean, I think that shows that maybe things are not in a healthy place in terms of work for you. I also feel like the opposite is true, where if you're never feeling like you have to vent about something, I mean, maybe your job is just that great and everything's going great all the time. I find that kind of hard to believe if you're pursuing something you're passionate about, but I think having some vent sessions, you know, regardless, is a healthy way to help kind of mitigate some stress. And it doesn't have to be with someone at work. It could be with a spouse, you know, wife or husband or whatever it might be, girlfriend, boyfriend. Just having someone, even your parents, whatever it might be, just having someone to say, God damn, this person at work really pissed me off, and whatever it might be, that is usually really healthy. The next is gaming. And, you know, obviously I work in games. I've been gaming since I was a little kid. And that I find is also a good way for me to just like release some stress. Now, when I play competitively. I don't really play single player games. So for me, it's not like an escape, which if that's what is important for you and it helps you, like, more power to you. That's great. Go play like some world that you can escape in and this story that you can get sucked into. For me, it's like competing against other people online, particularly in Halo, where, you know, we get a lot of smack talk from people in the Halo community, and then I can go online and beat them in matchmaking. That to me is very cathartic. And, you know, I just like playing Halo or playing other competitive games, and it kind of releases this energy in me and, like, you know, helps me just like think about something else, you know, put my energy into something else. And, you know, especially if I have a good night where I'm winning, I'm getting a lot of kills, I'm playing well. That to me is like the best part of gaming and what usually helps me feel better. So those are the 4 things that help me kind of reduce stress. Like I said, those are the positive ones. I think later I'll do a video on some of the negative ones, since, you know, I want to be open and honest about everything, and hopefully all you guys who have been watching kind of feel that way about this channel so far. But yeah, hopefully you're able to manage stress. I'd be curious to know, you know, leave a comment if you feel there are other ways that you manage stress in your day-to-day. Maybe we can all share some tips and tricks for each other and different methods for doing that. But that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you everybody for the comments, the subs, and the thumbs up. And I'll see you guys in the next one.